In the last episode, we concluded a very expensive transfer window in which we signed Victor Osimhen, Yeremy Pino, Enzo Fernandez, as well as a whole load of young, amazing-looking players, to be honest. We also debated the future of Harry Kane. Should he stay at the club? Should we try and sell him? Ultimately, we decided to keep him. And we also started our 4th season at the club with Will Still, our manager, our head coach in charge. We're just being the DOF. And it turns out he might just be a genius. Let me show you what I mean. Hello and welcome back to the DOF Spurs save. It is season number 4 and it turns out, as I mentioned just then, the Will Still might just be a genius. Why, I hear you ask? Well, to find out, you have to subscribe to the channel. Not really. Jump into the save. Here we are. And this is why Will Still might just be a genius. At the start of January, well, the 31st of December, heading into that January window, we're top. We are top of the league in our 4th season here at Spurs. Will Still has turned this club from just about scraping into Europe under Angelo Peruzzi to title challengers. We're top above West Ham, who are 2nd, Manchester United 3rd, Aston Villa 4th. It is a truly bizarre Premier League season, and at the moment, we are primed to take full advantage of it. Man City down in 8th, Liverpool down in 9th. This is the season that sometimes you just need if you're going to go and win a title in the Premier League. It's like being in France and PSG just having a bad year, or in Spain and Barcelona and Real Madrid are just completely off it. You have to take advantage. At the moment we are top of the league, as I mentioned, then heading into the January transfer window. I'm very excited about this. He seems to be doing all of the right things, does Will Still. The best thing yet, though, is this isn't even my favourite thing that he's done in this save. The best thing that he's done in this save is he's turned Harry Kane into a midfielder. We were debating whether or not Harry Kane should even be in this team, whether he should be our starting striker. Is he scoring enough goals? Will Still's just come in and done something that I didn't even think was possible for an assistant manager to go and do. I guess it is, though, right? We see AI managers change position of players sometimes. I saw Jordan Henderson turn up as a right back for PSG in a save. He's made Harry Kane a centre mid. Genuinely, he's playing him there pretty much every game. If we have a look at his form here, he's played as a centre mid in his last 6 games. And he played there a few times before that as well. Look, a couple of games here. Still playing as a striker every now and then. And weirdly, as a left winger, as an advanced playmaker as well. I love this from Will Still. He's done, like, he's thought outside the box. Now, Harry Kane has a place in this side. He's going to play every game. Like, he's not going to miss the lack of pace that he's going to have as he moves and gets a little bit older now that he's 32. I almost feel like there's a decision to be made here. Do we give him a new contract? Because right now, he's about to go into the stage where other teams can offer him a deal because his contract is going to expire. Surely, right? Just let me know. Give me some feedback here. I should be offering him a new contract. Is that right? Let's give him at least another year because I love it. He's playing as a centre mid. He's such a good DLP, by the way. Have a look at those attributes. I mean, as a DLP on support, or even a DLP on defend, he's got 10 tackling. DLP on support, though, just look at this. He's playing him, I think, as it's a CM, a central midfielder. So maybe let's put him on support. Look at the attributes. His passing's so good, 18. Vision's amazing. He's got, I mean, like decisions, 18. Composure, like, he's a really good midfielder. And this is my favourite thing about it. I mean, we should go back though, right? There's a lot to update you on. Today's episode is going to be a bit of an update video, how the first half of the season has gone, as well as showing you some of the future things that we might do as well. A little disclaimer. A few players got wage rises because of playing enough games. We've now got no money for January, so it's probably not going to be a transfer episode. More so looking at the new players that are about to join and trying to sell on 1 or 2 players because this wage budget at £223,000 over is probably a bit of an issue. So that is something that we're going to look at today. But I guess we should have a look at some of these results. The league table then, I showed you it before. 20 games in, 44 points for us. We're 3 points clear of West Ham in second with a game in hand. If we win that, we would go to 6 points clear. 6 points clear at 21 games in is a pretty nice position to be in. At this point, are we suggesting that we're favourites for the league? I think we possibly are, aren't we? Let me show you the results then so far through the season. We had a storming start. After the game where we watched it in the last episode, beating Manchester City at home, Kulusevski with the winner. We went on a run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 wins in a row, some of them in the Champions League. It was wins against Newcastle, good team them as well. Brighton at home 3-0, Crystal Palace beat them 5-3 away from home. Camavinga scores a load of goals for us, by the way. Leao got 2 in that one. We also beat then Villa 3-2. Ajax 2-0 before drawing to Arsenal away from home. That's not the end of the world. Again, I mean, like, we didn't play particularly well. That was Kane up front in that one. I think this may be before he started playing him as a centre mid. He did that a little bit later on. When Osimhen was settling in, I think that he gave him a little bit of a settling in period, Victor Osimhen, and then he started scoring some goals. If you look at the goal scorers going down here, it definitely, he does kind of take off a little bit as we move through. After the draw with Arsenal, we beat Fleetwood, Carabao Cup. We're still in the Carabao Cup, by the way. We beat Everton 3-0, 2 from Osimhen here. Look, this might have been around the point. Beat Villarreal, lost to Leicester. There has been 1 or 2 losses. In fact, how many losses has there been? There's been 4 losses in the league so far, all away games. So maybe it's showing that we are a good home team. We lost to Leeds, West Ham, Chelsea and Leicester away from home. 2 draws. Again, both away from home, which means we have won all of our home games so far. I was going to say White Hart Lane. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is becoming a bit of a fortress under Will Still and is 4-3-3. I'll show you all of those player stats as well in a second. Winning all of our home games so far. We'll just continue to go through these results because I think you do want to see them, don't you? It was after here we beat Wolves 3-0. We beat Rangers 4-2. We lost to Chelsea, one of those losses there. Again, it was, I mean, should I show you the stats? I want to show you some of the stats where we lose because some of them, it was a bit unlucky, really. Lukaku with the winner. We were definitely competitive in this one. There's the side that he's playing. He has moved away from using James Ward-Prowse as a DM. So he is using this 3 in midfield, even though slightly different way around that I would have used them. I think I would have put Camavinga deeper and then maybe Enzo Fernandez further forward, but I don't mind Enzo as the 6 either, so that kind of works too. James Ward-Prowse off the bench or coming in is a decent backup, but maybe just probably good enough to be a backup. I think a few of you suggested that in the comments as well, didn't you? Moving on through, as we continue then, we beat Brighton 5-3, another 5-3 win. Very, very odd. Then Watford 5-0, Galatasaray 2-0, Brentford 4-0, Liverpool 3-1, just dispatching them with a hat-trick from Victor Osimhen, who we've seen us lose to Liverpool so often. I know we beat them in the final of the Carabao Cup last year, but 3-1 dispatching them at home. Lost to Dortmund in the Champions League, drew to Blackburn in the Premier League. They're back in the Premier League, by the way. Middlesbrough beat them. Southampton 3-0. We beat PSG, look. That's a big win, isn't it? Heung-min Son scoring against us, which is, I mean, kind of nice, actually, that he comes back to Spurs and scores a goal there. But the winner from Bastoni. Lost to West Ham. There's a few more iffy performances, or losses I should probably just call them, more recently. So I hope that trend doesn't continue too much and we find some really consistent form like we had at the start of the season. But 1 or 2 losses creeping in. Still though, beating Newcastle 4-1 Carabao Cup quarterfinal, beating Manchester United 2-1, losing to Leeds, and most recently beating Leicester 2-0. Carabao Cup, we are into the semi-finals of this competition, where we will have 2 legs against Manchester United. If we can beat them, you'd have to say we're favourites. It's Burnley of the Championship or Wolves that we could play in the final. Please let us beat Man U over 2 legs, because another great chance for some silverware again. I mean, I kind of want to win a trophy that's better than the Carabao Cup, but we're not into the FA Cup yet, and we are still in the Champions League. So far in that competition, 6 games played, 5-1, 1 loss to Dortmund. We are looking good to go through. In fact, we're joint on points with the top of the Champions League group stage as well. It's all pretty good, isn't it? It's all pretty good news so far. I'll show you the tactic, which I've not put any players in, but I've just kind of guessed on which roles are being played. These might be different with like a CM here, and they do change, don't they? Maybe like a DLP if it's going to be Enzo Fernandez. But if I just pop in the players that are first choice, Diogo Costa, still very much first choice. Wanted by Juventus at the moment. Ricardo Ramirez has played 1 game as the backup goalkeeper, but he's a good backup goalkeeper as an 18-year-old. I think there's a player with a bit of potential there, so I think he was a smart signing. Right back has been Pedro Porro. We've had some games from, I think James Ward-Prowse might have played there actually a couple of times. We've also got Awono, who's played 3 games, the young Cameroonian who looks like he's going to be so good. Look at those attributes, hopefully on the way up as well. But Porro is first choice. First choice left back is still Adoji. 4 games from Christensen, 12 games from Guardiola. Again, I think some of those playing at left back as well, but Adoji, very much first choice. Bastoni's first choice at centre back. Romero is also 8 games from Antonio Silva. We're still well stocked, aren't we, in the defence, especially with Guardiola coming in as a central defender as well. DLP. It's either Camavinga or Enzo Fernandez here. Sometimes James Ward-Prowse, but you see the games played by these players here. For me, I'd be going for Camavinga. I think more often than not, though, it's Enzo Fernandez with 21 games. Lots of rotation. We've got players that can rotate. I'll show you the players that aren't getting their game. Maybe we think about selling them in this window, but into this midfield, Jude Bellingham plays most games. Camavinga plays most games. But as we've seen recently, Harry Kane popping himself into this midfield quite a lot. And I mean, he's got 12 goals and 4 assists and a very good average rating, which is kind of nice. He's wanted, look. Man U, Milan, Juventus, Barca, ready to offer him an end of contract, new contract. I feel like we need to offer him one. I don't know if we can. I mean, I feel like you'd agree with me. Some of you may say would let him go. I don't know if I can offer him the contract that he's going to want because we're over the wage budget. Let's just see what we could do. I'm not going to promise him that because I don't want to play him there. Can we even offer him... Here, we can offer him 160. Do you know what? 2 years? Should we see if he'll... Okay, yeah, let's do 2 years. Another year after this year. Let's do this now. I think he deserves it. The fact he's playing in midfield, I think, gives him a viability in this team. And I think it's worth doing. We'll give him that. Maybe we'll do... Will he go for it? You'd think he'd want to stay, wouldn't you? But that is quite a lot lower than what he wants. So maybe I need to put these up, these appearances... Ugh, that's kind of as high as it can go as well. Can we give you a wage after? Can I give you a... No, I can give you a... I mean, if you get 30 goals, you can have a load of money for that as well. 2.2 mil. Let's up that. Okay, 160k a week. It's at least we could offer it. It's actually, I think, a little bit of a wage cut for Harry Kane. He's on 160k now. I think we keep him in the team. He's a club legend, isn't he? I know that lots of you playing FM are like, he's older than 30, get rid of him. But club legend, willing to play in new positions. He's charmed me. So let's put him back in. Let's give him a new contract. Of course, this would change in this midfield. We definitely see a lot of Jude Bellingham coming into this as well. Maybe even like doing it this way around. That might even be my favoured midfield 3. Maybe swapping these two over. But this midfield 3, I think, makes a lot of sense. Enzo Fernandez is a great backup there. Right-hand side, Yeremy Pino played a load of games. 18 starts, 3 goals. Kulusevski, 13 games. So those two are rotating. Leao is a first-choice left winger. 22 games from him. And then up front, Victor Osimhen did decide to bring him in. I love the star. The roll ability has gone right up now because he's got 14 goals in 19 starts, 5 assists as well. He is now our main out-and-out goal scorer, which I think is really, really cool, isn't it? 10 goals in the league, 16 in 16 appearances. That's better than I think we had last year from any players. So we've got a striker that will score our goals now. Does mean, and there's a lot of talking. I just I feel like this save, we can have really long episodes because I can just talk to you about the game, which is such a nice thing. I literally sit down not knowing how I'm going to do the video, but just want to talk to you about this save, and you guys seem to love it. So thank you so much for watching. I'll say it now. Thank you so much for continuing to watch this. Do like the video as well. It does really help to keep the getting pushed out into the algorithm. And leave me those comments too. I love reading them. Let me know what you think about Harry Kane. Should he get this new contract? What should I do about Sesko is another question. He's so good and he's going to only get better. He's only 22, but now he's 22. Is it too much to be spending 200k a week on for a player that's played... He's played 11 times, but only 2 starts. Are we stifling his development? I'm worried we are kind of, but Osimhen's better and we want to win the league. So I don't know. There is a bit of a conversation to be had there, isn't there? These are the backup players. You see how many they've played. Guardiola 12, just 4 games for Christensen, but he is a backup left back. Marcus Edwards, I think I'm going to sell him. At least I'm going to try to sell him. He's still got value. He's got 3 years left on his deal here, and he's played 0 games this year. I know he's homegrown at club, but is that even an issue at the moment? Let me just show you what the homegrown at club situation is. Like, we've got loads of homegrown at club anyway, with Antonio Silva, Divine, Scarlett, Musa. They're not good players, I suppose, but is it good enough? We've got a Wono who gets it in 3 years and Ramirez who gets it in 3 years. It's not many, actually, is it? What we really need is a good youth intake with good players. Another one to add to Musa, who's our one player that we've had through a youth intake that's actually been good so far. I don't know. Let's see if anyone will buy him in this January window. If we get a good bid, I think I'd accept it. If the bids are rubbish, then maybe we'd keep him around to fulfill that homegrown quota. Alfie Devine does that too. Doesn't play any games. Dane Scarlett's not played any games. Probably should loan him. Who's actually played a lot on here? Ward-Prowse has played 10. Kulusevski's played 13. But that's the squad. The main thing here is we're top of the league. I'm going to go through January today in today's video. Let you know how we do in these games here. There's actually a whole load of games in January. Everton leads Man U in. There's the two-legged affair against Man U with Millwall in the middle in the FA Cup. Chelsea in the league at home. We don't play. Where are Chelsea in the league? They're 7th. Our main title rivals are Man U and West Ham. West Ham. Wait, I mean, who have they even got? Their manager is Bilic again. Skamaka is unbelievable actually in FM, isn't he? How many goals is he scoring? I mean, he's only played 9 games, so maybe not that many. There's their team. Palinia's good. It's a weird team to be challenging for the title, would you say? I thought that was Rob Green there. It's Etienne Green, of course. Back, I'd say back in England. Was he ever in England? Etienne Green, by the way, one of those weird things in football he played for Saint Etienne, didn't he? It's like Arsene Wenger managing Arsenal. I feel like we don't talk about that enough. It's one of the weird, like, as a child growing up with Arsene Wenger in charge of Arsenal, I was always like, guys, do you not see how funny this is? It's such a, like, but everyone just kind of carried on. Anyway, we digress. We're going to go through these games here. Chelsea, Lyon in the Champions League. I think we're already, are we already through? There's 2 games to go, so we're not technically already through, but maybe 1 win away from going through automatically to the knockout. Is it the round of, there's like a playoff round and then the round of 16, I think it is. I get confused with the new format. Then it's Wolves, Shakhtar, Newcastle. We'll play these games so that I can keep you up to date with any transfer business that's going on in January. And I will see you probably around about the end of January to give you an update on how things have gone and anything that I've decided to do. Will Kane sign that new contract? Will we sell any of our players? Actually, just to go back to it really quickly, players that probably need selling. Alexis McAllister, he's lost all of his value because I think his contract is going to run out in got a year and a half left, look. Wanted on loans. Maybe if we get 15 mil for him, we kind of cut our losses a little bit. He was great for us until we kind of replaced him with amazing players. Just to mention as well, Mateus França played a whole load of games and has been really good for us. And yeah, so he's going to stay. Maybe it's just McAllister, Edwards. And that's kind of it really of people to sell. Sesko, I don't want to sell. Maybe Dane Scarlett, it might be time as well. And just bring in those 18. I just, homegrown at club is just an issue, isn't it? But if we run a small squad, we just keep gaps in the Champions League team squad. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll see you at the end of January. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you in a minute. All right, we're back and it is now the end of January. And there are some big things to update you on, actually. Been a busy January, lots of matches, no real signings. Well, no signings, except for some future ones that have now gone through. But there have been some sales and there are definitely some updates to tell you about. Jumping into the save here then. And as you can see, 31st of January, we remain, this is probably the most important thing, we remain top of the league. It's a 4-point gap to second, and Manchester United are now that second team. West Ham have kind of fallen off. They're down at 42 points, look. 11 points behind us. We are just about edging ahead of Manchester United. The top 4 looks a little bit more familiar these days. It's United, Arsenal and Liverpool. City, though, way down in 10th. I've just seen that they're selling Rodri to Barcelona as well. It's all kicking off at City. I mean, it's fantastic news for us. Liverpool in 4th as well. The results, they've been okay. Before I click on this now, I just need to tell you, remember how we had Man United in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup? And if we beat them, it was like Burnley or Wolves in the final. Fantastic opportunity for some silverware. Or some more silverware, right? Yeah, we binned it off. We were 4-1 up. We beat them 4-1 in the first leg of this semi-final. Dominated them. Coming from behind as well. They scored early with Fernandes, Bruno. We scored Leao, Kane, Bellingham and Kulusevski. Kane playing in midfield, look. 4-1 up from home. Going to Old Trafford full of confidence. And we binned it off. We lost 3-0. They came roaring back, the headline said. And we lost on penalties. It was James Ward-Prowse as well that missed the penalty. We were a Kulusevski penalty away from going through to another final. And he missed it. And we lost to them. James Ward-Prowse missed. Sesko scored his. There's the team that played. Look, it was Fernandes, Bellingham and Camavinga in the midfield. They swapped. It was Pino on the left-hand side, so no Leao. I think, did Leao come on in this game? I don't think he did, no. Yeah, we're out in the semi-final, so there will be no Carabao Cup final this year. There could still, though, be an FA Cup final and a Champions League final, because we are still in both of those competitions. By the skin of our teeth, I will say, though, it was Millwall at home in the FA Cup third round, and we needed an 87th minute equaliser from Pedro Porro to stay in the competition. We're going to go to a replay at Millwall in our, well, one of our next games here. So not amazing, but at least we didn't lose. Porro with the saving grace right at the end there. Other results though, 3-1 against Everton, 5-0 against Leeds. This was outrageous. Osman got another hat-trick. He scored a couple of hat-tricks this year now. Millwall and Man United we've looked at. We lost to Chelsea. That's why the gap at the top of the league has now closed slightly. A 1-0 loss. Kai Havertz with the winning goal there. I will show you as well, just to keep you updated, because I still find it amazing. Harry Kane still playing in midfield. This midfield, Kane, Bellingham and Camavinga. I love it. It's just so much fun that the AI, well, Will Still went and did this, right? I find it so good. We lost that game. Anyway, it was Lyon in the next game in the Champions League. Then we've just beaten Wolves 1-0 with a 95th minute goal from Destiny Udogie from our left back. And then most recently, we've lost to Shakhtar in the Champions League. That doesn't matter though, because we have qualified from the Champions League. We've qualified 4th seed going into the knockout phase. We won't be in the playoff round. We go straight into the round of 16, which is quite a nice place to be. Can we go one step further than we did last year? Last year in the Champions League, we lost to Atletico, wasn't it? We drew with them and then we lost to them. That was in the round of 16. So I want to go one better this year. I want to go and make it competitive. We're top of the Premier League. We must be a good football team. Go and have an actual run in the Champions League, please. That's my aim. Other things that I need to update you on. Well, I'll show you the finances. We are in loads of debt is one of the big things, but transfer budget, we now have some money in the bank and we have wage budget available. I actually changed our season objectives from top 4 to challenge for the title, because I feel like at the very least we challenge for the title. It helped us with the wage budget, and I've sold on some players too. The players that have gone out, let me know what you think of these in the comments down below. I think it's pretty good business, all things considered. One of the things to consider as well when we look at it is the fact that Francesco Martolotta has joined us. He's a young left back. He joins for, it's £17 million in total guaranteed, but it's a lot cheaper than that up front. Young 18-year-old left back that can come and join as our backup left back, meaning Christensen, not so necessary anymore. And that's why I've sold him. In this January window, I have sold Christensen to Juventus. £33 million up front, 33 mil. Yes, his value is way up high now. Yes, he's a fantastic player. Suggested to sign by the way, by Will Still, wasn't he? Which is really cool. But he's 23. We've got an 18-year-old who's not that far off him, and he was only a backup. He's only played for us 11 games, 4 starts this year, 15 games last year with 12 starts. By no means a starter. For 33 mil and this profit, felt like it was something that we should do. We'll invest in the youth instead. So he's moved on. That helps us massively. Harvey White's gone on a free. He was not playing any games, even though he made that weird sub appearance, didn't he? Coming off the bench. And I think it was in a final, wasn't it? Other than that, though, he's not really played. The other 2 big outgoings are Alexis McAllister has gone to Porto on loan. They are paying his wages here. They're paying 100% of his wages, £93,000 per week, with an optional future fee of 11 million. Seems low, but there's another like 12 million, 13 million on top of that they will pay over time as well, which I don't really know how the transfer clauses work, but like, will it be on here? I think if I go to McAllister, it's 11.5 there, but they've said that they're going to pay about 11 million pounds in installments as well. So there is more money coming in for McAllister at somewhere. It ended up saying if they take up the option to sign him, it's about 25 million pounds, even though it's weird because it's a loan. I don't know how that works. Does anyone know exactly how that works? Explain to me in the comments down below. Similarly, we've done a similar thing to Marcus Edwards, who's gone to Atalanta. They've got an option to sign him for 18 million pounds. That goes to about 30 million pounds with the extra money too. There's a percentage of next fee that will go to us as well, and he is there. They are also paying his wages. £92,000 per week is Marcus Edwards now playing for Atalanta. 500k. Look, it says 500k for the loan, but there's an optional fee that goes to 33 million. Again, I don't know how it works exactly, but he's going to go and play there now, meaning homegrown players, they are kind of light on the ground, but we've got a few that are going to get them in the future. Martolotta coming in. Escobar has arrived. Not Pablo, it's Steven. He has arrived at the club and he's got a load of value, look, already at 18 years old. Young striker, young poacher, perfectionist personality, has made his debut. Played not very well in the, I think that was in the Millwall game. He managed to start. I think he started in right wing, Will Still, and he got a 6.5. We didn't play great in that game. In fact, I want to show you the side that played because a lot of our youngsters actually played in this game here. So there is that team look. It had Sesko up front. By the way, Sesko's not in a great run of things. It keeps coming up about his goal drought. He scored a penalty in the shootout in the United game, but Hasn't scored many goals. I think it's just 4 starts for him this year. So it is definitely a conundrum that we are going to need to consider in the future. When he has played, look, it's a 7.06 average rating, but only 4 starts, 19 off the bench. Hasn't scored that many, just 4 goals. It's definitely a conundrum because I don't know where he's going to get his starts from with Victor Osimhen being in the side and being so good. I guess going to get a bit older. Maybe we just hold up. Those are our 2 strikers forever. Maybe he'll get chances. Anyway, it's something to think about, isn't it? Escobar played on the right-hand side, which is a nice option, actually. He can play there, look. Doesn't necessarily suit it as well as playing as a poacher, but can definitely play on that right-hand side if we need him to. And then a lot of other young players in there, actually, too. Like Awono at right-back didn't play very well. We had França, not a youngster, but he started with Kane in midfield. Martelotta played left-back, played very well. And then Ramirez, the young goalkeeper, playing great. Reminds me, actually, I just want to show you this because this is a player that I really, really want to sign. You'll have to let me know if this is somebody that you think we should sign. Just having a look at whose contract was expiring, by the way. Not a load that were any good. I don't think I'm going to make a bid for any of them, really. But this guy here, would you be absolutely all over this guy and trying to sign him? Yes, he's £68 million, but this guy's amazing, right? Is there anything that lets this guy down in terms of being a goalkeeper? He's 18 years old, US keeper called Matthew Colon. Fantastic name as well, by the way. But he's 6'1", so he's tall enough just about. He's got good aerial reach and jumping reach, though. Very agile, good reflexes. I think he looks amazing. Loads of potential. He's playing for Freiburg. He's their #1 goalkeeper already at 18. I just feel like, do we sell Costa in the summer for big money and replace him with a worldy young goalkeeper? He's got a minimum fee release clause of 84 million. I don't know if we're going to have 84 million to spend on somebody, but doesn't he look good? I was just looking at all the other youngsters. I've scouted loads. Look, I found loads of really good ones. Pinto we're signing. Have a look at which one did I find that I thought looked amazing as well? Tempo looks pretty good. Plays for Brøndby. Got loads of pace about him. I could look at new gen signings. Ivan Yankov, I think, looks great. 18-year-old Bulgarian striker, I think would just be really, really fun. Loads of flair, very determined, loads of technique. Anyway, I could definitely be segued away and talk about youngsters for ages. But there is a bit of news that I do need to tell you. If I go to the squad screen, this is the biggest transfer news in terms of keeping players, and that's Harry Kane has signed a new deal. 160k is that contract we offered him. He is going to be here until 2027. It's a new 1-year deal, and I'm quite happy to keep him. I know that a lot of you wanted me to sell him in the last video, but I'm quite happy to keep him now. Now that he's playing as a midfielder and can play in these positions here. He played as a Metzala off the bench in a game that I watched not that long ago. I think it's really cool. He is staying, as is Pedro Porro signed the new deal. I've signed him till 2030. And finally, Eduardo Camavinga has signed a new deal as well. Again, till 2030. Still worried about this, by the way. Is it in here? It is this here. I'm still a little bit worried about the fact that Real Madrid can buy him back for £117 million. His value's gone down a bit, but it was about £117 million, and I thought they might go for it. I guess it's a load of money if they do it, but hopefully now with his new deal, he is sticking around for the long term because he has been so good for us. We signed him now 4 years ago. What a player. What a player he is becoming and already is. Eduardo Camavinga. That is the situation. This is the situation. We need to go and win this league. There's 14 matches to go. 4 points clear. Can Will still win the Premier League title? Can he? Please, please let him do it. These are the remaining fixtures. And I'm going to go probably until the end-ish of the season. If it looks like there's a real title race with 3 or 4 games to go, maybe we do them as live comms in the next episode. I feel like that could be a lot of fun. Play through and live through the heartache together, watching the matches. Maybe it'll be a bumper long episode as well, which we love a bumper long episode. If you want extra long episodes, by the way, let me know in the comments down below because I'm seriously considering it over the Easter break. Maybe like hour-long eps. Is that crazy? Let me know if you want it, and I will leave it there for today. Thank you so much for watching and continuing to watch this series. I love the fact that there are so many of you here leaving me the comments and chatting about this save and being so excited about it, because I hope you can tell I'm so excited about it as well. If you are enjoying it, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help. We are so close as I record this to 40k. We're on 39.5k-ish, which is mightily close. Leave a like on the video too, but most importantly, have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Please, go and win the title, Will, still, please.